Hey guys, welcome back to this tutorial. And in this particular one, we are going to see how to build and design this personalized onboarding flow using advanced Figma prototype. Now, what we are going to be designing is this onboarding flow where it's going to be personalized, right? So if, for example, if I click on UX design and UXR and click on continue, this loading page, and then it shows me only things that I have selected. So as you can see, we have UX design, design, and UXR. That was the only thing I selected, right? So we are going to see how we are going to personalize it. And you can see I can't even click on the continue button because it is disabled. So we want to see how if we click on this, our button turns from disabled to enabled. So this is what we are going to be doing, and then it may interest you to know that we are going to just be designing this in just 3 frames. And for as a bonus, I'm going to show you how I design this loading page. Yeah, using all this. Stay tuned. If you haven't subscribed yet, why don't you take your time to subscribe now, like and comment, and don't forget to share this video. So let's get started. Okay, so now for you to be able to practice along using the advanced prototype, you must be on a paid plan of Figma. Now, if we go to the paid plan, we have Figma Professional, at least one of the paid plan, the Figma Professional, and you see we have the advanced prototyping here. However, even if you are not on this paid plan, there is a way where I'm going to show you next, where you can still have access and then go along. However, this is only free for students and for educators. So if you just want to play along to see how this advanced prototype works, to get familiar with it, then this is for you. So the next place I'll be going is Figma for Education. I'll put the link in the description below. So if you are at Figma for Education, there is a place where you can get verified as either a student or as an educator. It doesn't take up to 10 minutes for you to be verified. Well, anyway, I'm saying this based on my experience, so you can try yours and see. But it doesn't take long. So if you click on get verified, you put in all your informations, whether you're a student or educator, administrator, what type of thing you can just put in everything. They will ask you some minor questions. So I guess yours will be student. So they will ask you some minor questions where you have to fill and then submit. Once you submit, check in your email, and the approval shouldn't take much more of your time. Right. So now that you've set up Figma Education, let's get started. All right. So believe it or not, this is the only thing that we need for this prototype. So let me quickly run down everything that we have, everything that you are seeing. So the first thing is this loading animation. Well, the loading animation is not part of this tutorial, but anyway, since we are talking about it, let me just quickly explain it. So what I did was have this polygon, these triangles. So what I did was duplicate it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, and make a component set out of it. So and then I now transform them by changing their angles. So if you notice, this is at an angle of minus 90 degrees. The next one is at 180 degrees. Then the next one is at 90. I also changed their colors, and then I apply prototype to them. If we come here, you will see I have applied an after delay prototype, and that was what I did with this, and that was what I did with this. If now a tip here is that always maintain the container, shape container. It is very important. If you try adjusting the shape container, your animation is not going to work well for you. So you have to keep that in mind. But so you can see this is the animation I just set, something as simple as this. So let's just get started with it. So now what we want is, this is our get started page, right? What we want is a personalized topic feeds for our users. It's very good for user experience to have a personalized feed, right? What they want to see. So, and that is what we want to achieve here. Now, by doing so, we'll have what we want to achieve is that we'll have some selected topics, and then if the user clicks on any topic, it is going to show him just topics pertaining what he has clicked from this get started page. So anything that is not clicked from this get started page is not going to be shown here on the home page under this for you, right? So that is what we want to achieve. So let's just get started with it. Now we have some components here. So basically, let me start with this title thumbnail. The title thumbnail is what we have here. This is our homepage. So talking about the title homepage, like I said, or what I intend doing in this tutorial is to be bringing out some tips that will help in your UI design, even though this tutorial is not meant for UI design. Now, let me show you anytime you are designing any UI, it is very important to use a 4-point grid or 8-point grid for your spacing. Now, in this, I use the 8-point grid, and let me show you what I mean by that. If you notice for all my designs, they are multiples of 8, right? So from this to this place, from this place to this place is a multiple of 8, as you can see it. So, and this is what I use for all of it. So always use a 4-point grid or an 8-point grid for spacing your UIs. It makes it more cleaner and readable. Now let's go back to our tutorial. Now we're going to clean this up definitely. So let's get started. Now we are going to start with explaining our components. So as we are explaining our components rather, so this is for the title thumbnail. Then this is for the selected buttons. So these are the buttons that when it is being clicked is going to personalize everything that we have. Then this particular button is the button that when clicked, when we click continue, it's going to take us to the next page, right? And then the user can decide to skip. Maybe the user does not prefer to have a personalized feed, so the user can decide to skip. Now under this button we have, if you check, we have under our properties, we have states. We have 2 states, disabled and enabled. So this is an enabled state, and then this is a disabled state. So for the skip, we also have enabled and then disabled. And the skip is our secondary button, while the continue is our primary button. So that is just what I did. So it's just for you to create 4 of these buttons. You can design it the way you want and then make component set of it and then give them the properties like I did. Anyway, the link to this file will be under this video. So if you want to compare it to what you have going, I will leave it for you. Now for this other button, now this is the button we want to use for the personalization, and it's just 2 buttons, true or false. So the properties is selected true or false. This is the true, and then this is the false. That is just what we have. So let's get started. Now the first thing I'll do is I'm going to copy this button. I'll hold Option and then drag so that I can duplicate and copy. So good. So what I want to do is I want to rename this, so I can come to this place and let's say the topics we want, let's say we have UX, right? Let's say UX design. I'm going to duplicate, but well, just for the UI. Like I said, this video is not for UI development. However, it's good to have a clean UI, and then this video should also show you how I go about creating pixel perfect design. So what I do here is I select all this and then I tidy it up, right? I want my grid system. I want everything to go in line with my grid system. So I have the first design and then the last design arranged to the edges of my grid. So yeah, that is it. So what I do here is I select everything here and then add an auto layout to it. If I add an auto layout, I want, like I said, I always use an 8-point grid or a 4-point grid. In this case, I'm using an 8-point grid system. So basically it's just multiples of 8, right? So your spacings are going to be in multiples of 8. So for this, I'm just going to have 8, the spacing here. And for this, these are this. We're also going to add an auto layout and add 8. It should be 8. For this, let's add an auto layout. We want uniformity. So what I'll do is I'll copy all the three and add auto layouts to them. And I want to center it, right? So everything is centered. I think this is more neater. Yes. So the next thing we are going to do is, now that we already have this, what we want to achieve is, now this button is an instance. Let's go back to this button. This button is an instance, is an instance that has a Boolean value, true or false, right? Now we have our buttons here, and what we want is, we want to connect this button to a Boolean variable in Figma, right? And then we also want to connect that Boolean variable to our layer visibility, so that when it is toggled on or off, it's going to control our layer visibility. I don't know if that makes sense, but as we continue, you will see how it makes sense. Don't forget, our button has a Boolean value, true or false, right? And then we want to connect our button instances to our Boolean variables in Figma that we are about to create, and then connect those Boolean variables to the layer visibility, so that whenever, let's say, a UX design is clicked, it's just going to show us posts that are related to UX design. Whenever UX design, UXR are clicked together, it's going to just show us just these three posts, just these three items. So that is what we want to achieve. And to do that, we'll click outside our frame and then come to local variables. What we want to do is create a Boolean variable. Create a Boolean variable that has all these buttons listed. So this is what I mean. If we click on create variable and click on Boolean, let's name this has design and press enter. You can come down to create variable again and then name this has design, right? And a shortcut, a good shortcut, sorry, this is supposed to be has UX design. The shortcut for this is to hold shift and press enter to duplicate it. So the next one would be has UXR. Enter. So I'll quickly do the rest. You can also do the rest. All right, good. So if you've done it well, you should have something like this. Let me expand this a little. Yes, so you should have something like this. Has design has. So we want to have all these buttons as a Boolean variable, and make sure that your Boolean variable is set to false. So if we go back to our local variables, you see it is false. So we can even toggle this to be true, but let's leave our value as at false. What we want to do next is to connect our button instance to the Boolean variable, right? So let me give an instance here. What we want to do is connect it to our Boolean. Hope I'm spelling this right. To our Boolean variable, right? And from this, then the next thing we want to do is, after connecting this, then we want to connect our Boolean variable to our layer visibility. I just hope this makes sense. So we have our button instance. We want to connect our button instance to the Boolean variables we've created, right? And the Boolean variable, we want to connect it to a layer visibility. Now, I want you to note something. Our button instance has a Boolean value, which is true or false, right? So it can be toggled to true or false. So we also want to connect it to these Boolean variables we created, which also have two values of true or false. But that is what we want to achieve. So now, for us to achieve this, we will come to this UX design and then come to this panel and click on this place. We want to assign these variables now. So we'll look for has UX design and select. So we'll do this for the rest. Come to this is design, has design. So I'm going to quickly do it for the rest. Good, perfect. So we are done with the first stage. We've connected our button instance to our Boolean variable now, right? We've connected our button instances to our Boolean variable. It is now connected, and as you can see. So the next thing is, let's check whether this works. And so to just check this, let's just have this simple rectangles and see if it works. Oh, let me just quickly give them some random colors. All right, good. So what we want to do is we want to apply layer visibility to them. We want to connect the Boolean variable that we've already connected to the button instance. We want to now apply it to this layer visibility and see if it can be able to control the layer visibility on or off. Right? So let's try it and see. So under this layer, you come to this eye icon and then right click, and it's going to bring out your variables for you, your Boolean variables. And I'm just going to select as design for the first one. And then yes, if you are not seeing it, it's a sign that it is working. Because if you remember, we set it as false, right? So for this next one has programming, and then this has UI development. Yeah, so we can try this and see whether it actually works. Whether if we toggle it back, it's going to show the rectangles. If that happens, that means it works. So I'm going to quickly use the inline preview in Figma. And to do that, I can just simply come to this place, your normal preview, and then click on the drop down and click on preview. However, I love shortcuts. I love using shortcuts. So the shortcut for this is Shift and then space. So it's going to bring out this. So if I click on UX design, okay, it's not going to work. And this is because we haven't prototyped our buttons. Yeah, so we are supposed to do that. So let's come back to the selected cards buttons. And I don't know why I named these selected cards. Well, you can give it a proper name. So if we come to this prototype, we'll come to this place. And yeah, let's just leave it on click. It should just be on click. It should just be an instant animation. We don't need to apply any sound animation to this. Good. So let's go back and try our inline preview again. Shift space. Yes, and it means it's working. Yeah, so that means it's working. Let me delete this. So now we've established the fact that this is working. So what we did was connected this button instance to our Boolean variables that we have, and then use the connected button instance and the Boolean variable to control our layer visibility by toggling on or off of the topic selected, right? Good. So that means this works. So what we want to do is apply the same thing to all these posts that we have. That is what we want to do. And then to do that, it's going to be the same thing. So I'm going back to my design. So for this, I'm just going to select every post that has UX design by holding Shift and then selecting every post that has UX design. Yes, I think that is just about it. We'll come to this place, right click and select has UX design. So yes, you see, each time I press, it just disappears. It sets the visibility to false because that is how we set our variable, our Boolean variable. It's set at false. Now the next thing, and also from this page, because this page, our button instance is set to false, right? Our button instance, if I come to this place, we have our button instance is set to false, and this is why the visibility is set to 0. So let me just quickly do the same thing. All right, so if you've done everything, you should have your home page to appear as if there is nothing, but actually there is a lot going on here, right? So let's test this. To test this, let's just quickly prototype on tab. This goes to this. Let's bypass our loading. We just want to see how it works. So if I click on the inline preview, if I select this and then click on any place, yes. So it's just showing me posts that are related to UX design. So that means this is working, right? If I come back and then I select 3 and I click on this, yes. So that means it's working. Now, this is just to test this. We are going to remove this prototype. This is not the proper way to prototype this. Now, the next thing we are going to do, let's go back to design. So now the next thing we are going to do is to bring our continue button. So I'll hold Option and then drag it here. Right. So while we're at it, why don't I just bring the skip button also? So let me quickly explain something here. Now, best practices when it comes to designing button is that if you want users to click on an option like this, then it is expected that the continue button should be disabled, right? So you don't want a situation where the user will simply come and click on continue. It just bad UX practices. So the best thing is we want this continue button to be disabled until the user had selected a topic. So if the user selects any topic, then the continue button should be enabled so that for him to continue. However, should the user not want this personalized feeds in his homepage, he can simply skip, and then it's just going to show him every other topic available, right? So that is what we want to achieve next. We want a situation where by default our continue button is set to disable. That means it's not clickable until an item or a topic is selected. Now, in order to achieve that, we will have two other variables. Now, the first variable is going to be a number variable. This number variable is going to contain the number of topics selected, right? And then the next one is going to be a string variable that is going to control our enabled and disabled button. So two variables. One is going to be a string variable. The other is going to be a number variable. So we can go back to local variables and add this up. So for the number variable, we'll have it as topic selected. Topic selected. We can leave it at 0 actually. Yeah, that will do. We can create another variable string. So we want to control our disabled and enabled states. Now, we can name this as button states. Now, it is important that for this string value, it should have, let me minimize this. For this string value, it is important that in our button, we have an enabled and then a disabled state. And then we want to match that string value to what we have, right? So make sure that under your state, it is enabled or disabled. Or if it is not enabled or disabled, anything that you have, it must match to this string value. So in our case, we're going to have disabled, right? That is what we have. Good. Now we have these two variables set. So the first thing we want to do is connect this continue button to our string, to our disabled variable. So I'll come to, let me zoom in. So if we come to this continue button, so under these states, what we want to do is select button state disabled. And you see automatically it changes to a disabled state, right? So the next thing, what we want is as soon as a topic is selected, we want the disabled state to change to an enabled state, because you can just select just one topic and then click on continue. Maybe you're just interested on UX design or just interested on design. So that is what we want to achieve. Now to do that, we'll go back to our button and then go to prototype. Under prototype. Now this is where it gets more interesting. So if I come and click on this place, so we are going to set it up. So we are going to set variable topic selected, and then topic selected to be +1, right? We've done this, I guess. So the next thing is to set up our conditional logic. Now to do that, we'll add an action, set conditional. Now what we want is if topic selected is greater than 0, if topic selected is greater than 0, that means if you just click on just one topic selected, we want to add a set variable, and then this set variable should be button state, and the button state should be enabled. Right? Good. So let's see whether this works. We come to our flow one and UX design. Perfect. So this actually works, right? Now the next thing is we want this to revert back. So if we want the logic to revert back. So if nothing is selected, it should go back to its disabled state. What we want to do is just come to the next, still on our prototype. We'll click on this and then click on set variable. So for this, we'll have topic selected. Topic selected is -1, right? So we'll set our conditional. So set our conditional to if topic selected now is less than 1. If it is less than 1, add an action. So the action is going to be set variable to button states, and then button states should be disabled. Good. Else do nothing. So let's see if this works. So we click on this. Yes. So perfect. So everything is set. Everything is complete. Everything is working. We are done with everything actually, but let's just make sure to tidy everything up and just polish everything. So let me delete this prototype. What I want to do is, this is too long, so I want to take this back, and then this also, I want to bring it back. What I did for this, so this container actually houses all the topics we have, and then I set the scrolling to vertical, so that is just we have. Now for this to work, you should always clip your contents. All right, always remember this. Let's go back to our prototype. So what I want to do is, the next thing is, if you remember, for good practices in designing buttons, you don't want your disabled states to be clickable, right? If I come to this place and then if we are prototyping, if I come to this place and then prototype it, that means our disabled state can be clickable. So the best thing to do is to come to this continue button and drag it to our loading page. So that means it is only when, we can set it as instant. It is only when this button is enabled that it can actually be clicked. So let me show you what I mean. So you see, it can be clicked. But once I select anything, now it can be clicked. So it takes us to our loading page. Now, but we don't want it to just stop at this loading page. We want it to come to our home page. So the next thing we're going to do is we are going to just prototype the complete page to our home page, and then instead of on click, we want after delete, and I'm just going to set the after delete to 1600, and I'll set to smart animate, right? We can leave every settings like that. So if I come back again and prototype, if I select this, click on continue, so you see it's working actually. It selected only topics that are UX design. So now, another thing is, should the user just want to skip this? The user just want to skip the whole process and then just go to the home page and find every other post. It's possible also. So that means technically what is going to happen is, if the user should skip this, it is going to show him everything, all the posts available, right? So let's just do that. So for this, we'll bring our skip to this place, but this is not where it ends. Then now we are going to add a variable. So we're going to add an action, set variable, and for all those topics selected, all the Boolean variables, we are going to set them to true. So that is it, as simple as that. So let me quickly do all the rest. Great, so that is just it. So we set all of them, all the topics, we set them to true. So let's try it and see whether it works. So if I click on this, nothing is selected. Good. So you can see we have everything. everything is selected. Oh, and by the way, I took out my time to set this horizontal scrolling also, so it's just bonus. So everything is selected, right? So if I come to the let's prototype and try it again and see, right? So yeah, everything works fine. Everything works fine. Just those we selected. So this is how to create a personalized user onboarding. So let me preview it on a much bigger screen and see. I love to add, this is iPhone 15 Pro Max. Let's do it again. Good. So yeah, continue. And then there we have it. Right. So I can also skip this and it shows me every other post we have. Right. So this is the power of using Figma variables. I mean, there's more to come from Figma according to them on their variables. There are so many things that I can imagine doing with this, and there are so many barriers hindering this. So we are hoping to see so much improvement uh on the variables. But so far, I mean, the future is a great one. It reduces a lot of design time. And as you can see, just with these three pages, we are able to do something that before now it would have been different pages. We will have been having a lot of pages scrolling all over, not knowing where to go from there. So yeah, this is the end of this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, why don't you subscribe, like, and comment if there's anything you want to see next. If there's any video you want to see next, comment in the um comments below and I'm going to reply back to you. So yeah, that is it. Have a nice day. See you next time. Been having a lot of pages scrolling all over, not knowing where to go from there. So yeah, this is the end of this tutorial. If you enjoyed this tutorial, why don't you subscribe, like, and comment if there's anything you want to see next. If there's any video you want to see next, comment in the um comments below and I'm going to reply back to you. So yeah, that is it. Have a nice day. See you next time. And as you can see, just with these three pages, we are able to do something that before now it would have been different pages. We will have been